Good afternoon and welcome to the final edition of the Highlander News.
Broadcasting from the Highlands News Studio in Fort Thomas, Kentucky.
I'm Ben Rosensteel.
And I'm Kat Vincent.
We are closing in on one of the final days in the nest, but for one person this summer may be bittersweet. Our district superintendent, Mr. Kirschner, is retiring at the end of this year.
As the class of 2017 gets ready to take flight, the superintendent of Fort Thomas Schools, Gene Kirschner, will be packing up his desk as well. Mr. Kirschner announced his retirement at the March 13th Fort Thomas School Board meeting. In his letter, he addressed with mixed emotions that he will retire effective June 30th, 2017.
You know, after 34 years, it seems like it's the right time to maybe do something different while I'm still young enough to do that, and so I felt like that was probably, from a personal and a professional standpoint, that it was probably the time for me to do that.
Mr. Kirschner was hired in March of 2012, taking on the position previously held by Mr. John Williamson. Mr. Kirschner has around 34 years of experience in the public education system, working in 5 different school districts.
Oh, we all love and respect and admire Mr. Kirschner. He and I go way back, actually. Believe it or not, he was my sophomore world civilizations teacher. So not only will we miss him in the district, you know, I'm definitely gonna miss his leadership and his presence.
During his time as superintendent, he has helped launch FTIS Forward with the digital conversion in each school in the district. He also worked to get the community behind a new visioning process that would shape the way we look at our education. His greatest accomplishment in the field of education, he says, would be through all the students and people that he has met.
When you tie the decisions that you make to what's in the best interest of students, and you stay consistent with the mission and vision that is established, that, you know, you're less likely to make decisions that other people won't agree with or that you might later regret.
What I really admire about Mr. Kirschner is all of the things he did during his time here at Fort Thomas Schools. It wasn't to make himself look good or to get the district a bunch of awards. Everything he did really was in the best interest of the students, and I really like that about him.
Mr. Kirschner has indeed made Fort Thomas a better place for education throughout the years. As we think about Mr. Kirschner packing up his last box with his nameplate from his desk, we will indeed miss seeing him in the hallways.
We thank Mr. Kirschner for all of his hard work. You know, summer is fast approaching and it's a great time for fun. So let's check out some of the exciting summer plans that some students have.
As many of you may know, the school year is coming to an end. So I went around to see what people's plans are for this summer. Jameer, what are you going to be doing this summer?
Well,
I coach soccer. Waiting for a baby.
I'm going to drink a lot of Kool-Aid Jammers.
June 1st through 30th, where me and Luke Meyer are going down to Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. We got to pick up this old retro car from my Uncle Jones.
I'm going to Hilton Head and I'll be coaching.
Is that going to be your honeymoon?
No, it's not.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm going to Georgia with Jameer.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Georgia with them too.
Be getting ready for Louisville's bowling team.
I am going to be painting.
Oh, this summer is going to be a very wild summer. It's going to senior year. I'm probably going to be teed up for at least the entire summer.
I'm going to go on vacation, hang out with friends.
Hanging out with Ben.
Okay.
And after that, July 1st, like the 15th, I talked to the landlord. We're working on our Lexington house with me and a couple others.
Got a little business to take care of in Florida.
We got to go down to Florida to take Luke Ross to his court date.
Hitting the weight room for Listerman, getting out there on the field with Weinrich.
I'm going to be doing football all the time and doing Highlands Country Club swim team.
I will probably work a lot, maybe see some baseball games, try to come up with an action plan for Mr. Haskamp to make sure that he becomes a little bit more effective.
I'll be hanging out with my girlfriend, Sylvia.
What are you going to be doing this summer?
Well, I'm an assistant manager at the Fort Thomas Swim Club, so I'll be walking around picking up straws and stuff.
I'm going to be hanging out in the woods a whole lot, sleeping outside, sleeping in my car, sleeping everywhere but my bed. I'm going to be really trying to get in touch with nature before I start college.
And finally in August, many of you may know, I'll be down at Fort Benning, Georgia, in the country in Georgia, surviving around Alabama, doing what I do. Before I ship off September 5th, I will be in Lexington for a couple weeks with my brothers, attending the Rush Week, and I'll be back sometime this fall or winter.
As always, it looks like it's going to be an eventful summer. It was nice knowing you, Highland.
We hope that everyone has fun this summer. Well, Trey, spring sports are finally wrapping up. What do you have for us?
They sure are, Kat. The girls' softball team is having a great season. The team is currently playing well in their district matchups and have been hot as of late. The team is currently in district, so be sure to get out to the bird cage to cheer for our girls. The boys and girls track and field teams had fantastic seasons. The girls team won region while the boys finished runner-up. Both teams are competing today at the state meet. Good luck, guys and girls, and bring back some hardware. The boys and girls tennis teams each had winning seasons, dominating the competition on the tennis court. The girls team had an undefeated regular season, and the boys only lost one match. The teams competed very well at districts, regionals, and state. It was enjoyable to watch them compete and win matches this season. I wish them luck for next year. The Highlands baseball team has had a great regular season and is now in the midst of their districts. Hopefully, we can keep up on the winning tradition into regionals and the state tournament. Be sure to come out and root us on. Well, Highlands, it's been an honor in covering sports here for the past couple of years. I want to thank all of my filmmaking and broadcasting teammates, and as well as for Mr. Puff for everything you guys have done for me. I will always cherish the memories we all made together. For the final time, signing off for your end of the year sports recap, I'm Trey Bowden.
Thanks, Trey. Congratulations on making it to NKU, and we'll sure miss having you here in the studio. We also have another person leaving the nest and is starting another adventure. Let's take a closer look.
He is always willing to share his carrots at lunch.
And his hummus.
And his hummus.
Mr. Pollack acts just like another student.
He is an incredible man, an incredible friend, an incredible teacher.
He is a short little man with a big heart.
He is a wonderful guy, and I wish him the best of luck.
He's very encouraging to all of his students and inspiring.
And he is my creative writing mentor.
He is the best teacher I've ever had.
It's really problematic how he is such a good-looking man, because he makes the rest of us look as if we're not trying, and that's a little bit unfair.
My first impression of Mr. Pollack was how incredibly young-looking he is in comparison to actually how old he is. I still don't believe his real age.
He brings so much to this school. I don't think that unless you have seen him on more like of a personal level and what he does in the classroom or as a student, I think there's a lot of people that don't know how much he does because he's quiet and he's understated and he's not very showy or ostentatious.
I'm extremely happy for him and proud of him because I know that is something really great, a great step in his career, but I'm also sad because I won't be able to come back to Highlands and see him again next year.
He's leaving me with 8 crazy women, and I'm flying solo now.
I mean, I left, and I think probably for a guy like Darren, someone who is as honorable and upstanding as him, it probably was something he wrestled with a lot, and a decision he wouldn't have made if it wasn't for his own personal growth and knowing that Highlands is going to be okay without Mr. Pollack. I mean, understandably, Mr. Dowling won't, but Highlands will be fine.
But his work ethic and his behind the scenes and what he does so quietly, I think has truly changed the pulse of the school. And I think that it has changed the culture. I think he has been a foundation for this department and for an entire group of students. So I'm devastated to lose that. I'm devastated that people will not get the experience of having him in the classroom. I want my children to have him. But I am, of course, excited for him. I think that he's going to do amazing things. I think he's going to be incredible at it.
We will all miss Mr. Pollack and his enthusiasm.
You know, none of us here are perfect in the broadcasting department, and sometimes we like to have a good laugh at ourselves. Here's a peek at some of our bloopers.
So obviously Highlands is gonna need to blah, blah, blah.
Are you going to the boat show at the Duke?
Sorry.
Come on.
Okay, test your audio.
The first time I met Darren Pollack was at a baby eating convention.
Good afternoon, Highlands.
Why are you on the ground? I don't know.
Jesus is who we want to vote for.
Thanks, guys. That sounds like an amazing year to... Nah, they'll do it.
My name is what? My name is who?
Jesus for president. Jesus for vice president.
Oh, okay. Yeah, crazy eyes gotta get toward it. Otherwise, nobody will know where I'm looking.
Thanks, Cam. It's always amazing to see our fellow Bluebirds giving back.
You're kidding me!
Kidding me, man.
Jesus for Supreme Court.
Summer. All right, here we go.
What? Hi?
Well, you got a problem with me?
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going with someone else.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cam.
Caught that on camera too.
And Jesus for judge.
Back over to you, Ben. Oh, Alex.
Thank you, Kat.
Oh, as you go. Do it again.
Why are you doing No Shave November?
Think. okay, I got this.
It looks like we messed up a lot this year.
We sure did. And you know, I made a lot of great memories this year, but I'm sure for some of the seniors, these next few days are going to be bittersweet. Here's a special look back at the year for our seniors.
The year is 2013. We came to high school excited, nervous, and terrified, anxious to start the new journey of our new selves, abandoning the horrors of middle school. We got a fresh start, all to realize that high school wasn't all that different. Friends come and go, and we began to figure out who we really are, and our dreams began to develop.
Traffic's backed up from corner to corner, so I guess
As sophomores, we gained confidence after shedding our old label as freshmen. We ventured out to better ourselves in all new ways and began to understand the high school routine. Even though we were not freshmen anymore, we were still babies, terrified of seniors. Despite the smaller stature and young age, our dreams of our future were growing big. Then we were juniors, the big, bad upperclassmen. There was junior wars, prom, learning to drive, and the ACT. There was pressure of balancing AP classes, varsity sports, clubs, jobs, and refined insecurities. But through all of the fun and bumps in the road, we set our eyes on dreams that were becoming real.
let's do all the stupid young kids do. No, I've never really been the smartest.
Senior year, the last go-around. After 3 years of hard work, heartbreak, triumph, it was all coming to an end. We showed up in August in our class shirts, towering over the freshmen we once were 3 years ago. This was the year we dreamed about, and the year our parents wished they could relive. It's our turn. On and off the field, in front of and behind the lens, in and out of books, and up and down the canvas, we took new responsibilities. We were now making decisions that will decide the rest of our lives, still believing that the ACT scores do define us. As graduation looms ahead, we now see how close the real world really is. Class of 2017, although our dreams are big, our dreams are about to become real. So let's go chase them.
We wish the best of luck to the class of 2017. That's it for our final edition of the Highlander News. I'm Ben Rosensteel.
And I'm Kat Finsett. Have an awesome summer, Highlands.